Today is Thursday, the 20th day of June 2024. A pleasant good evening and welcome to Freedom Evening News Basket. 45 minutes of all of the major news from Liberia, Africa, and the rest of our one world. My name is Thomas Kojo Rolak, presenting this evening presentations of the news program. These are top stories we're covering this evening. Civil Law Code sets June 29, 2024 as hearing date to review a declaratory judgment lawsuit filed by Wilmot Smith, a former Deputy Director General at the Liberia Institute of Statistics and Geoinformation Services, against the administration of President Joseph Yoman Boakai. University of Liberia Faculty and Staff Association termed as unfortunate the U.S. Board of Trustees threat against all legal employees that stay away from work for 10 days without authorization. Senate President John Blakanga Lawrence dispelled rumors that the Liberian Senate has DSA borderline, termed the information are false and misleading stories about senators getting DSA. And away from Liberia, Kenyan police have clashed with anti-tax protesters in the capital Nairobi, as demonstrations have spread across the country, including the seat of the presidency. The details of these, including the bulletin of news, the agile voices, are all coming out after this short break. Many thanks for rejoining us on the program Freedom Evening News Basket. At this point, we cross over to Studio B, where Stephen Compton is seated to be for us the bulletin of news. A pleasant good evening to you, Stephen.
Good evening, Rolak. Good evening, Liberians. The Civil Law Code has set a hearing date for June 29 to review a declaratory judgment lawsuit filed by Wilmot Smith, former Deputy Director General at the Liberia Institute of Statistics and Geoinformation Services, against the administration of President Joseph Boakai. Smith was dismissed in 2023 by former President George Weah, following allegation made on Spoon Network linking him to financial misconduct regarding funds designated for numerators. In his lawsuit, Smith is seeking reinstatement, arguing that his termination by former President Weah contravenes the act establishing legit and Article 89 of the Liberian Constitution, which mandates the National Legislature to establish autonomous agency within tenured. The lawsuit contains that Smith's appointment as Deputy Director was authorized by the Legi's Board of Directors, a power granted under the June 4, 2018 Act. The lawsuit asserts that the President's dismissal of Wilmot Smith due to process violates a constitutional provision regarding the removal of officials from legislative created agencies. The lawsuit highlights violation of the Act of Legis, particularly Section 58, 4, 1, and 2, which detail the President's power over the organization. The University of Liberia Faculty Association has termed as unfortunate the UL Board of Trustees' threat against all legally employed staff that stayed away from work 10 days without authorization. Recently, offered convened an emergency general assembly at the UL Capitol campus in Monrovia and unanimously passed a resolution to disengage from all academic activities on the campuses of the University of Liberia until their plight are addressed without any precondition. Among other things, the board is continuing to remain out of the Fennel, St. Jade, Medical, and Capitol Hill campuses until UL President Dr. Julius Nelson and the entire management team leave the administration of the institution. The University of Liberia Faculty and Staff Association attributed their disengagement from all learning activities to the unpaid salary for part-time lecturers and unbearable working environment for the staff. Following this decision, the Board of Trustees of the University of Liberia on the 19th of June 2024, in a press statement, mandated all faculty and staff to immediately resume work or risk administrative action. But sharply reacting to the Board of Trustees Thursday, June 20, 2024, the UL Faculty and Staff Association stated through a press release that it was unfortunate on the part of the Board of Trustees to threaten them. The leadership stressed that after a protracted period of mismanagement of the university by the UL administration, coupled with several failed promises to improve staff and faculty welfare, the Board of Trustees sees it befitting to maintain to status quo. Still at the University of Liberia, the student integration movement has pointed out partial use of authority as the reason the Board of Trustees of the University of Liberia failed in attempt to ensure that all of our leadership and their members return to the normal duty effectively. It can be recalled that the same leadership on June 18, 2024, the leadership was sent urged the Board of Trustees of the University of Liberia to mop up and swiftly intervene as it relates to the University of Liberia Faculty and Staff Association leadership and members ruptured disengagement from all academic activities. Addressing a press conference Thursday through its Secretary General, Augustine Weird, said that partial use of authority, according to SAM, puts the students in the state of that is one of the reasons Liberia has procrastinated in growth this long, noting that the Board of Trustees is playing the devil advocate and the leadership can be successful in said ad. The leadership was saying further that it would like to align the Board of Trustees of the University of Liberia of the contradiction within its communication, resolution, and recommendation of the Board of Trustees on June 19, 2024. Still with more development, Senate Pro Tem Nyomble Kanga Lawrence has clarified that the US 47,000 spent recently in Buchanan Grand Bassa County was leaked money used from the Senate committee budget line. At the Thursday, June 20, 2024 sitting, the administrative head of the Senate, Madakanga Lawrence, also dispelled rumors that the Liberian Senate had DSA budget line determine the information as false and misleading stories about the senators getting DSA. The Grand Bassa County senator stressed that the Liberian Senate operates by the 1986 Liberian Constitution, adding the law provides for some spokespersons for the Senate, a capacity she serves officially. The president of the Senate maintained that all information about that the pro tem maintained that all information about the Senate retreat in the public that has been used to target senator is unofficial. The pro tem statement comes just a day after the chair of the Senate Ways, Means, Finance and Budget Committee, Senator Prince, made assure Liberians that the Senate, under the leadership of Nyomble Kanga Lawrence, will continue to tread on the path of transparency and accountability. The plenary of the House of Representatives has taken action in response to concern raised regarding the awarding of 22.4 million road contracts by the Ministry of Public Works. Following an initial appearance by Minister Roland Ginnings on Thursday, the House found the document provided inadequate to substantiate the authorization of the contract without legislative approval. The House's decision rescheduled Minister Ginnings' appearance on Tuesday, June 25, 2024, underscored its commitment to transparency and accountability in government expenditure. This action follows a communication from Bonk County District 5 Representative Eugene Colley highlighting experiences in the awarding process of this contract. Representative Khalid emphasized the requirement on Liberia's public financial management and public procurement and concession committee laws, which mandate legislative approval prior to the awarding of significant contracts. The representative expressed great concern about the integrity of the building process and management of public funds in this matter. The Bond County lawmaker at the same time underscored the critical role of legislators in upholding transparency and ensuring adherence to legal and procedural frameworks governing public expenditure. In another development, Minister Roland Gaines has told the House of Representatives that the ministry, along with the Environmental Protection Agency, is about to carry out vigorous demolition of homes in alley ways as well as drainages across the country. According to the Public Works Minister, those that build houses in waterways are the reason the country is experiencing flood. He said if concrete action are not taken to prevent the building in the waterways, the country will always experience floods. Liberia on Thursday, June 20, joined the world in celebrating World Refugee Day at the Monrovia City Hall. Refugee Day is an international day organized every year on the 20th of June by the United Nations. It is designed to celebrate the honored refugees from around the world. The day was first established on 20 June 2001 in recognition of the 50th anniversary of the 1951 Convention relating to the status of refugee. Speaking at this year's event, the chairperson of the House's Committee on Refugee Repatriation and Resettlement, Grand Jida County District 2 Representative Marie Johnson underscored the need for the government, host communities, and international partners to do more to restore the hope of Liberian returnees and refugees in the country. She noted that the arrival of the first group of refugees a week ago is a big sign of people returning with their family. In remarks, the executive director of the Liberia Refugee Repatriation and Resettlement Commission, Patrick Wozid, disclosed that the Liberian government, with assistance of international partners, shifted the status of many refugees from emergency to protection and development. The program head on the team Solidarity with Refugee for a world where refugees are welcomed, brought together allied people, including refugees, host community, international partners, among many others. Division has erupted among the members of the leadership of the Community Land Management and Development Committee of Gold Ridge Town of Bakumant toward District Grand Cape County following the signing of the Memorandum of Understanding between the community and the management of the Mountain Company. Recently, the chairman of the Bakumant community signed an MOU with B Mountain to relocate the town following the discovery of a huge deposit of gold by the company. But the co-chair of the Community Land Management and Development Committee in Monrovia, Sheikh Abdullah Suarez, rejected the MOU on ground that the rural leaders were cured by Grand Cape County Representative Bsket Fiaka. When contacted, Representative Fakat refused to comment on ground that she only witnessed the MOU, but however, the Secretary of the Community Land Management and Development Committee, Sidut Suarez, claimed that the allegation against the Honorable Representative is misrepresentation of the fact. Amidst looming threat of removal as Speaker of the 55th Legislature, House Speaker Funati Kofa has appointed Tela Yuri as Senior Advisor Foreign Affairs and Legislative Engagement. Making the disclosure on his official Facebook page, Speaker Kofa stated that he is pleased to appoint Ms. Tela Yuri as his senior advisor on foreign affairs and legislative engagement in the office of the Speaker. According to him, Ms. Ured will spearhead the Speaker's agenda to foster collaboration between the Liberian legislature and other international legislative bodies. It can be recalled only that in July 2023, barely a day after the integration comment against former Vice President Joseph Boakai, now President of the Republic of Liberia, vision that rescue mission, the former chairperson of the JMB tag team 2023 political support, that pledged political support to President, former President George Weah. Tara took to a Facebook page and Hodder wrote that Joseph Boakai rescue mission train has lost direction, interfering that she would no longer to support the Unity Party's Tenabero to become Liberia's next president. And now, with this very last development, before returning to Thomas Kojo Roda for the continuation of the news program, President Joseph Boakai has nominated and appointed additional members of government affecting the Ministry of Culture, Information, Cultural Affairs and Tourism, the Office of War Crimes, National Disaster Management Agency, and Lofa County University. Those appointed at the Ministry of Information, Cultural Affairs and Tourism are Daniel Sando, Deputy Minister for Press and Public Affairs, Nat Bsket, Deputy Minister for Technical Services, Rufus Paul, Assistant Minister for Technical Services. The Liberian leader also appointed Councillor Jennington Massaquet as Executive Director of the Office of the World Crimes Code. Meanwhile, Bishop Badon was named as Chairman of Board of the Lofa University, Minister of Education, member as official statutory members, among others. The release further clarified that the appointments supersede any previously published in similar agency and position. Meanwhile, those appointed are subject to confirmation by the Liberian Senate where applicable. Where Rolak is back to you for the continuation of the news program.
The news bulletin with Stevens Compton is a regular featured on Freedom Even News Basket. If you just joined us, the top stories we're covering this evening on this Thursday, June 20, 2024 presentations of the program Freedom Even News Basket. The Civil Law Code sets June 29, 2024 as hearing date to review a declaratory judgment lawsuit filed by William Smith, a former Deputy Director General at the Liberia Institute of Statistics and Geoinformation Services, against the administration of President Joseph Boakai. University of Liberia Faculty and Staff Association termed as unfortunate the U.S. Board of Justice threat against all legal employed staff that stay away from work for 10 days without authorization. Senate Pro Tem Yomdi Kanga Laurent dispelled rumors that the Liberian Senate has DSA borderline terms the information are false and misleading stories about senators getting DSA. And away from Liberia, Kenyan police have clashed with anti-tax protesters in the capital Nairobi as demonstrations have spread across the countries, including the president's hometown of Eldon. And I bring you the voices of those behind the news, beginning with this story. Liberians on Thursday, 20 June, joined the world in celebrating World Refugee Day at the Monrovia City Hall. World Refugee Day is an international day organized every year on the 20th of June by the United Nations. It is a designed program to celebrate and honor refugees from around the world. Speaking at this year's event, the chairperson of the host committee on refugees and repatriation and resettlement, Grand Jida County District Number 2 Representative Marie Johnson, underscored the need for the government to host community and international partners to do more to restore the hope of Liberian returnees and refugees within the country.
There is a need to do more, to offer hope, opportunities, and solutions to returnees and people with refugee status, which is possible via collective efforts from the government, host communities, and their peers. We need to create an environment that promotes solidarity with refugees for a world where refugees are welcome. It needs to consider the diversity and openness of people which Liberia is committed to and continue to be very sensitive with importance that leads to resettlement and reintegration as the arrival of refugees have triggered huge positive social and economic changes, transformed civil culture and local institutions, and promote social unity, particularly as our communities continue to validate their involvement in welcoming people with refugee status. As chair on refugees, resettlement, repatriation, relief, and readjustment, and member of the 55th legislature, in collaborating effort with the executive branch of government, we have a key role in fostering a welcoming society by setting up a framework with communities in providing accommodation and funding that will support capacity building activities in both communities as integrations continue to occur at the local level, which means that communities must be prepared to welcome and support the resettlement of refugees.
He remarks the executive director of the Liberia Refugee Repatriation and Resettlement Commission, Patrick Woolsey, disclosed that the Liberian government, with assistance from international partners, has now started to shift the status of many refugees from emergency to protection and development within Liberia.
We have migrated a good number of you from emergency to protection and development. And that transition requires some many period. Our country, we are no longer at war. We are in peace into long-term development with our arrest agenda. So those who are looking at our borders, how we manage and provide protection for you, we are also looking at our self-living area wherein we transition into our development program. So we are concerned with you, and we are looking at how we design our program to be more inclusive in our development agenda. Howbeit, we are again concerned about some of the issues that are challenging to us as we look at the global solution. As we celebrate this positive spirit and strength of refugees together with the host communities, this year's Refugee Day program, solidarity with refugee entails acceptance and inclusion approach that creates a healthy environment for the host community, the retainees, the local immigrant families, and those who are exempted and those who are still seeking affairs to have a good orientation and neighborness as we protect one another to create that room for assimilation and peaceful coexistence. As UNHCR gradually reduce our mission in Liberia, their presence in our refugee host community, the Southeast, is also a concern for us. We want to appreciate the UNHCR family for all the development and assistance they given to us as government as a duty bearer.
Patrick Woolsey is the executive director of the Liberia Refugee Repatriation and Resettlement Commission. There, speaking at the event marking the World Refugee Day celebration in Liberia. Later on, listen to the chairperson of the House Committee on Refugees, Grangida County District Number 2 Representative Mary Johnson, underscoring the need for the government to host community and international partners to do more to restore the hope of Liberians, returnees, and refugees within the country. Public Works Minister Ronan Guinness has told the House of Representatives that the ministry, along with the Environmental Protection Agency, is expected to carry out vigorous demolition exercise within communities of alleys and people who build on drainages across the country. According to the Public Works Minister, those that build houses in waterways are the reason the country is experiencing continual flood. He said if concrete actions are not taken to prevent building in waterways, the country will experience more floods in the coming years.
Businesses constructing on the island, constructing in the waterway, and also was constant filling of swamps, dry land, which should not be done, and the swamps usually serve as reservoir to collect storm drain water. So because of that, we're having this problem. And I can say, when we talk about the Ministry of Public Works, one of what we try to do is to open up alleys. We started doing that already. Is to begin also calling those who build on the drainages on the sewer system, put them through a process that will have the Ministry of Public Works and will begin with demolition. So if District 3, the representative from District 3, I wrote a letter complaining about this, which is okay and it's good for us to do so. We will be doing demolition very soon in District 3 for properties that are in alleys and that are on the street. So I'm just saying that we expect that the honorable us will support us and don't stop us and we'll be able to do it, because most of the greatest problem we have, people are building or people have built on the drains and close of the alley, and because of that, the water has nowhere to go. So we have to do demolition. We've already done some of the survey. We have our planning now showing people on the field, we're telling our properties, we will be doing demolition in some of the districts. And even the entire country will be doing that. So it's difficult, but we have to make that determination. We have to do it if we have to generate a crop. Besides that, currently we have about 5,000 millimeters of rain every year. But now we will have even more rainfall than what we had before. If we cannot deal with the drainage systems of problem, I can give an example quick. The Japanese will be building the cable paper bridge of Freeport. They're redesigning our road and they have to elevate it and build drains that will take the water to where the water should go, because the entire road is submerged under the river current.
He is the Minister of Public Works, Roden Lavia Guinea, there explaining to the House of Representatives that the ministry, along with the Environmental Protection Agency, is expected to kick off a vigorous demolition of homes in the alley area and drainages across the country. Looking us to have our Pastor Mark in the news. If you just joined us, you are listening to the Thursday, June 20, 2024 presentations of the program, Freedom Even News Basket. It's a 45 minutes of the latest news from Liberia and elsewhere, and this newscast is being relayed on Radio Howard in Papa District in Kidman County. These are top stories we carry this evening. Civil Law Code sets June 29, 2024 as hearing date to review a declaratory judgment lawsuit filed by Wilmer Smith, a former Deputy Director General at the Liberia Institute of Statistics and Geoinformation Services, against the administration of President Joseph Joman Boakai. University of Liberia Faculty and Staff Association termed as unfortunate the U.S. Board of Trustees threat against all liquor employed staff that stay away from work for 10 days without authorization. Senate Pro Tem Yomlikanga Lawrence dispelled rumors that the Liberian Senate has DSA borderline terms the information are false and misleading stories about senators getting DSA. And away from Liberia, Kenyan police have clashed with anti-tax protesters in the capital, Nairobi, as demonstrations have spread across the country, including the seat of the presidency. We're taking a break. We'll come out, we'll continue the news program on Freedom Even News. Many thanks for joining us on the program. Continue with more development. What is expected to be division has erupted among members of the leadership of the Community Land Management and the Development Committee of the Gold Ridge Town or Bakomon District in Kidman County, following the signing of the Memorandum of Understanding between the community and the management team of Bean Mountain Mining Company. Recently, the chairperson of Bangoman Community signed an MOU with Bean Mountain to relocate the town following the discovery of a huge deposit of gold by the company. But the co-chairperson of the Community Land Management and Development Committee in Monrovia, Shiku Aliyu Masarit, rejected the MOU on grounds that the rural leaders were in code by the Grand Kitman County Representative Basa Fika.
If I hear you say coercion is very is so the first thing if I hear you say coercion is very is untruthful, is not true, and it is misleading, and I want to strongly condemn that. So there was nothing like coercion. The role that the Honorable Bsket Soni Feka played was more like a balancing role for the good of the community and also for the understanding of the company itself. I'm backing the community Bangoma, but not a committee that had a press conference, because the press conference, they have ulterior motive towards that. There's something that I've not said. What they want is actually is more of the authority of the Community Land Management and Development Committee of Bangomatiwa District, Grand Kitman County, rise to have you informed that she was surprised to hear that the MOU that is under negotiation between the people of Bangoma Town, Tiwa District, through their legal representative, that is the Land Management Committee and the BMC, has been signed on June 19, 2024 without free, prior, informed consent. However, the committee further noticed that this action was masterminded by our lawmaker, Honorable Bsket Soni Feka, who coerced our chairman, Mr. Malaki Fambula, to sign without due diligence to other members of the committee. In as much as the room is still open for completion of the MOU, the committee considered the action of the lawmaker as betrayal and misleading. Hence, the committee therefore considered the so-called signing of the MOU as illegal and null and void. We are therefore calling on the company to return to status quo so that the MOU can be completed. We have discussion, but nothing was concluded when coming to signing of the document. When the government, they just need and they went and notice to us, and they call the people, the country people in the interior, they call them that we have come to sign the document. We are not getting to her because we understand that she was still up there and she has not come to town.
Meanwhile, when contacted, Representative Bsket Fika refused the comment on grounds that she only witnessed the MOU, but however, the Secretary of the Community Land Management and Development Committee, Sidu Suare, claimed that the allegation against the Honorable Representative is a misrepresentation of the facts that is ongoing within Grand Kitman County.
So the first thing, if I hear you say coercion is very is untruthful, is not true, and it is misleading, and I want to strongly condemn that. So there was nothing like coercion. The role that the Honorable Bsket Soni Feka played was more like a balancing role for the good of the community and also for the understanding of the company itself. I'm backing the community Bangoma, but not a committee that had a press conference, because the press conference, they have ulterior motive towards that. There's something that I've not said. What they want is actually is more of it's a way of even advertising that they are not in the best interest of the community. The reason for this is that we had an investor, a multi-million-dollar company waiting to invest, and we have an impoverished, poverty-stricken community without job. They are there waiting for something to happen. And then we had a meeting wherein there was some consensus built. And then to move forward with the process, we reneged and started to bring in something that was counterproductive. In the 60,000, even the step that was taken finally with the community and with the leadership, it will still bring the 60,000. So for us, 60,000 was really a minute thing that could not stay in the front or in the best interest of the community. It was not. The housing unit, the blueprint that we saw was not in the first one, the initial ones, but the current, yes, the current one that we went through is something that was really, is something I appreciate, because we stood against that very first one that was built, and we were able to engage them constructively, and they saw reason, and we had an understanding. So it has been far, improved.
And in fact, in the history of that community, this is the best ever when you say MOU. Because I'm the custodian of all records of the community. So when I'm telling you, it means that proof.
He's the Secretary General of the Community Land Management and Development Committee in Grand Kidmont County, Sidhu Shwarede, dispelling rumors about Representative Bsket Fika being the know of the ongoing development within the county earlier on. You listened to the co-chairperson of the Community Land Management and Development, Imurovia Sheikh Masari, rejecting the MOU on grounds that the rural leaders were coerced by Grand Kidmont County Representative Bsket Fika. Coming up next is the foreign development, but this will set the pace. The student integration movement has pointed out partial use of authority as the reason of the Board of Trustees of the University of Liberia in its attempt to ensure that also leadership and their members return to normal duties effectively. It can be recalled that since leadership on 18 June 2024 urged the Board of Trustees of the University of Liberia to man up for themselves swiftly and intervene as it relates to the University of Liberia Faculty and Staff Association leadership and the members' abrupt disengagement for all academic and administrative activities at the University of Liberia campuses. Addressing a press conference Thursday through its Secretary General, Augustine Weah said the partial use of authorities according to same puts the students in the state of inaccessibility, and this is one of the reasons Liberia has procrastinated in growth this long. The Board of Trustees is playing the devil advocate, and the leadership can be successful in such a situation, he told journalists on Thursday.
We'd like to enlighten the Board of Trustees of the University of Liberia of contradiction within its communication, quote, resolutions, recommendation of the Board of Trustees, unquote, released yesterday, June 19, 2024. One, the conduct by the Board of Trustees of the University of Liberia, leadership of the Migrant Student Immigration Movement, points out partial use of authority as the reason the Board of Trustees of the University of Liberia failed in its attempt to ensure that officer leadership and their members return to their normal academic, the normal duties effectively, immediately today. It can be reported that senior leadership on June 18, 2024 issued a STEM press conference at its office on the University of Liberia Capital campus, urging the Board of Trustees of the University of Liberia to mount and swiftly intervene as it relates to the University of Liberia Faculty and Staff Association officer leadership and members abrupt disengagement from all academic and administrative duties in their combined emergency general assembly on June 14, 2024. On yesterday, June 19, 2024, the Board of Trustees of the University of Liberia failed miserably in its move to direct all faculty and staff to their respective duties effectively, immediately, because of partial use of authority, whereas it was supposed to be used properly in the interest of the student. This partial use of authority puts the student in a state of oblivion. And this is one of the reasons our country, Liberia, has procrastinated in growth this long. The Board of Trustees is playing the devil's advocate. And no leadership can be successful to say, the Board of Trustees cannot manner and take hold of this matter as a shoe. The students will move into history. People who are dispassionate. Many students want to graduate at University of Liberia.
Meanwhile, the seemed leader followed that the party who informed the public that since 2012-2013, the University of Liberia have not had popular elections that will usher in student union. So it contradicts its own communication when it becomes the believable ones for students at the state-run University of Liberia.
oppose like the Board of Trustees of University of Liberia of contradiction within its communication, quote, resolutions, recommendation of the Board of Trustees, unquote, released yesterday, June 19, 2024. One may point why the Board of Trustees of University of Liberia made such costly mistake in its communication. But the response is why not? When the University of Liberia Board of Trustees have taken side, the Board of Trustees of the University of Liberia protects people like Mr. Secretary Corner of Student Affairs who uses self-governing method to run student affairs. This will prove how wrongly the Board of Trustees is proceeding. We soon like you to know that since 2012-2013, the University of Liberia has not had a public election that will usher in quote student union unquote. So the Board of Trustees contradicted communication when believe in the letter of the Secretary Corner that you have.
Augustine Weah is the Secretary General of the Student Integration Movement at the State University of Liberia. They are pointing out partial use of authority as the reason of the Board of Trustees of the University of Liberia in failures in an attempt to ensuring that the also leadership and members return to normal duties effectively. Taking us back to Stephen's content this time for the foreign news.
Kenyan police have clashed with anti-tax protesters in the capital Nairobi as demonstration has spread across the country, including the president's hometown, Eldoret. Anti-riot police, son of house, fired tear gas, dispersed a crowd of protesters on the street of Nairobi. There were similar protests in the cities and major towns across the country, including Nakuru, Eldoret, Kisumu, and Yariri. There is a parable to anger among many Kenyans over a controversial finance bill that has introduced a number of unpopular tax proposals. Despite the complaints, the controversial bill was passed by a majority of MPs during the second reading stage. It was now gone to the next level where a committee will consider amendment related to the proposed tax. Kojo, is back to you.
The foreign news from Kenya and East Africa is taking us home on this Thursday, the 20th of June, 2024 presentations of the program. Freedom Even News Basket. It has been a well-coordinated 45 minutes of all of the latest news from Liberia, Africa, and elsewhere, and the newscast has been relayed on Howard Radio in Papa District, Grand Cape County. We will leave you a recap of the stories we've been following. Silver's Law Court sets June 29, 2024 as a hearing date to review a declaratory judgment lawsuit filed by William Smith, a former Deputy Director General at the Liberia Institute of Statistics and Geoinformation Services, against the administration of President Joseph Joman Boakai. University of Liberia Faculty and Staff Association termed as unfortunate the UO Board of Trustees threat against all legal employed staff that stay away from work for 10 days without authorizations. Senate Pro Tem Yombili Kanga Lawrence dispelled rumors that the Liberian Senate has DSA borderline, terms the information as false and misleading stories about senators getting DSA. And away from Liberian, Kenyan police have clashed with anti-tax protesters in the capital Nairobi, as demonstrations have spread across the country, including the president's hometown of Eldoret. We'd love to say many thanks to all of our writers, correspondents, editors, and contributors who have been making today's presentation of the news program a success. Stephen's content was here with the Bulletin of News and the foreign news from Nairobi, Kenya. Stanley Nangwe, Sarah Control, coordinated the sound system and that of the camera. Thanks for watching and thanks for listening. I'm Thomas.